I'd like to point out something. I've been coming. This is my fourth tour to Australia, and Sydney, especially here, we've had a few experiences even in the past, and I think one or two times even the players have reacted and have got into trouble in the past, and that's not because of the player. It is actually because of the way the crowd has been speaking, especially the people on the what am I lower tier of the stands. They have been quite nasty. They have been hurling abuses as well. But this is a time where they've actually gone one step higher and used racial abuses. And like we already mentioned, there was an official complaint that we lodged yesterday, and the umpires also mentioned that we must bring it to their notice as it happens on the field, and then they'll be able to take action. And it is definitely not acceptable in this day and age where we've come through. We've seen a lot, right? We evolved as a society, and sometimes I think this roots back to the upbringing and the way one sees. So this must be definitely dealt with iron fist, and we must make sure that it doesn't happen again. Just a clarification: when I said iron fist, it is not a physical thing; it's the way we deal with it. Look, I think just for clarification, it's already been made that Punt will bat, right? I think the broadcasters have also made sure that it was announced. I think he will bat. Definitely, the bruise was quite severe, and it was quite painful. The elbow can be a very tricky place to deal with. Look, I mean, as a cricket team, we've not really, as a team inside the dressing room, we haven't really spoken about how things are not going our way. Sometimes when they don't go your way, they don't, and that's how the sport is. But we refrain from talking about things that are not in our control. We can only do what we can do, and we can control what we can. And I personally feel with whatever has been thrown at us, we have responded, in a very warrior-like fashion, and we'd like to continue and take the fight even tomorrow. So. If we can control what we can control, that's all we can ask from everyone. Personally, I think Adelaide and Melbourne wasn't as bad, but like I said, this has been a continual thing at Sydney. I've personally experienced it as well. They do tend to get nasty. I don't know why or for what reason, or they don't. Unless and until it is dealt with, people don't really find the necessity to look at it in a different way. In fact, I was quite surprised that some sections of the crowd continuously did it, and there were not mates around them who pulled them up for it. That was quite surprising as well. So it definitely had to be dealt with, and yes, disappointing is actually a very very mild word, I must say. Look, I mean, if I take back my first tour, take myself back to the first tour that I came here in 2011 and 12. I had no clue about what racial abuse is, or how you can be made to feel small in front of so many people, and the people actually laugh at you, and when you get abused, there are like another set of people who laugh along with these things happening. I had no idea what this was at all. So it was quite a bit of, whenever you stood at the boundary line, you wanted to just run in another 10 yards to evade yourself from all these things. But as things have strode on and we've learned more and more on tours, this is definitely not acceptable. And even yesterday when Siraj brought it up, Ajinkya, Rohit and myself, we all got together and we went to the umpire and did report it. Nowadays the boys are much better equipped. Even like someone like Siraj who's come in new, he does know that this is a line that someone cannot overstep, and even if it is from the boundary line, it's a wonderful thing, and it must be met the way it was met. And we must say that we were all quite happy that those people were evicted. These questions I need to be answering very carefully. See, I think firstly, in a test match, you don't look at the overall score and say going into a final day that we must go for a win. It doesn't happen quite so much like it happens in white ball cricket. There are passages of play, and the red ball game is much more different, and you're playing on a day 5 pitch. So sometimes when you play to the merit of the ball and just have the hunger and just crave in, you put yourself in a situation at the last session where you can take a dish at it, but you don't go into the morning saying chalo hum 300 bana denge. That's not how you play the game. And last time when we spoke about it at Adelaide, it was everybody got off to a good start and the game paced itself that way, and we did believe that we can get it because the score was in our range. And tomorrow as well, a batsman walking in will believe that they can do it. That belief is very important when you step onto the park tomorrow morning. And with respect to what will happen with what Nathan Lyon is doing is his job, and I cannot necessarily say that he will come into play or he won't come into play. We will put ourselves in the best possible situation to play every bowlers of theirs with on merit of that particular ball, and not really think too much about a particular individual. And with respect to what the wicket is doing, you're all seeing it, and the wicket is slow, and it will be that way. I don't see very many demons in it. Look, first thing first, the Indian cricket team is a team that's definitely not looked into all these things at all. The board decides what we do, and like contracted, players of the board, we just follow what the board says, and I'm sure they will definitely work things out in the best interest of their cricket team and the situation that's existent. So we believe and trust in what the decision that they will make, and they've always made best decisions in our interest.